Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, guys, and welcome to a special episode. Today is Motivational Monday, and in this episode, we have special guests.
Hi.
All right, I am right now with Nelly and Michael, and so Michael and Nelly both have a YouTube channel, but mainly they're also entrepreneurs, and they're coming from Austria. So I really wanted to share with you their story because, guys, I think it's really interesting, and you have like so many different facets and aspects of your life that are not very traditional.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe it can inspire others or just reassure others that their route is not that crazy either, you know? So why don't you just tell me where you guys come from and what is your background a bit?
Hi, I'm Nelly. As you heard, this is Mike. Mike is my boyfriend and my business partner as well. We started a business together 6 years ago, and then we decided to start another business, which is a coffee shop, and then we decided to move to Miami. And we have a YouTube channel as well, so as you see, there are a lot of things going on in our life, and it's very exciting things happening. I think that's it.
Yeah, perfect. And so, Michael, what was your background before getting into the entrepreneurship and everything? Tell us a bit more.
So actually I was always a little bit of a troubled child. I got in a lot of trouble when I was younger, and I dropped out of school very early because I could always only do things good that I was very passionate about. And back then I didn't believe in school, probably because I was in the wrong school at that time.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I realized that I have a passion for entrepreneurship and also a passion for like technical things. So I worked for a big corporation, and I went to evening school, became a mechanical engineer. But then after a while I realized again, okay, I'm not that passionate about that anymore.
Yeah.
So then we started our first company together, and we realized that entrepreneurship is really something we're passionate about. We started up our second company, which was a specialty coffee shop, which we successfully sold a few months ago.
Yeah.
And we started our YouTube channel with the idea to motivate other people, younger people, to not just believe in a 9-to-5 job, but believe in doing what they're passionate about, doing what they really enjoy, and to get a right perspective on what success means. Because in my opinion, success means something different to everybody.
Yes.
The traditional belief is success means having a lot of money or having a good 9-to-5 job, a safe job. That's success.
Getting married, build a house,
Right,
get
but to
children.
But to me, success means doing something you love, doing something you're passionate about, and just enjoying life. That's success to me.
I see. And so everyone must be wondering, but what was your first business? Because you mentioned the coffee shop. Well, so was it in the coffee industry or?
Our first business was an advertising agency, and it's actually the business that still pays our rent every month. We started that business 2010, so about 7 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's completely different from the coffee shop.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
okay. And did you feel that transition from one type of industry to another was difficult, or?
I would say it was easier because the first company was kind of, a very new situation for both of us. But with the coffee shop, we already had that experience of being entrepreneurs and like knowing the risks and like the opportunities and so on. So we kind of enjoyed it more, I would say.
I see.
Yeah. So it was easier for us to get into the coffee shop, although we are like very new to the coffee business.
Yeah.
We never owned a coffee shop before, so we
Okay.
just like, let's give it a try.
So would you say that businesses, no matter what industry, it kind of is the same framework, and after you just have to adapt to the new product, or?
Yes. So being an entrepreneur is going to be the same. It doesn't matter which industry that you're working in. Obviously, you need know-how in each industry, or you need people that have the know-how.
Yeah.
But just like the framework of starting up a business is pretty much the same every time.
I see, that's interesting. And so let's rewind back on the advertising. So advertising, do you feel that this really helped you in the coffee industry and nowadays with the YouTube channel, or do you take advantage on it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So having an advertising agency and a coffee shop gave us a unique opportunity. On the one side, the coffee shop had a strong advertising agency that it didn't have to pay for, and on the other side, the agency had a client. They could just test out new concepts, new ideas, without there being a big risk of, making your client angry.
Yeah.
That's yeah. The only one that would be
Exactly.
angry would be Nelly, right? Michael, your idea was terrible. What are you doing?
Exactly.
So that brings a very interesting point. Like maybe some of you are watching and you either have your spouse and you're not really into it together and what you're doing. What do you suggest for maybe couples or creators that have a spouse that is not really into what they're doing, or boyfriend, girlfriend? Do you have any suggestion on how either to work together or get the other one interested?
Well, I think an important point, if you're working together in one and the same business, you have to have clear boundaries. You have to have your own responsibilities where you don't interrupt the other person unless
I totally agree.
he or she invites you over into their area of expertise.
Okay, so no overlap, Nelly.
No overlap. I mean, yes, of course there are overlaps, but like we, as you said, we have like clearly defined tasks, and everybody can like put in his or her know-how. And of course there are like topics that you have to discuss.
Yeah.
And you have both to agree on it because it's kind of
Critical.
yeah. But we managed it so far, and we learned on the way to like growing our business how to deal with different situations. So it was a good learning opportunity.
Yeah.
I see. So whose idea was the strongest about entrepreneurship and then the YouTube channel? So both, like starting the agency, who was driving the other? Not driving, but like pushing the other to do it, and
So-
then the YouTube.
There's a very clear picture in our relationship. I'm always the person with the big ideas, with the visions,
Yeah.
and Nelly is always the person that will take these visions and look at the details of it.
I
So
see.
I'm the big picture. Let's start a company, let's start a YouTube channel, let's move to America.
Yeah.
And Nelly's
And
always
I'm like, okay,
how?
how? And he's like, oh, don't worry about the details. The details will come later. And I'm like, no. We have to make a plan and like, go into details. It's very challenging, of course, and you have both to agree to it. I can tell from what my experience was, I was very afraid of, stepping further or like doing new things or, like moving to a new country,
Yes.
having like a totally different cultural background is kind of scary.
Yeah.
It is. But as it is with entrepreneurship, you always kind of have to embrace the experience and you grow with the learning process. So
I see.
looking back on it, I'm really happy that we did it.
That's which is the most important,
Yeah.
right? And do you have like a lot of projects and then you just like decide on one project, or is it usually you have just one idea, one project, and you go for it?
Well, in general, we have like one big vision,
Yeah.
and then we try and create smaller projects that all are moving us towards that mission.
So can you give us an example?
Yeah, for example, YouTube.
Yeah.
We started our YouTube channel to motivate young people to think of the bigger picture, to follow their passions, to make it happen. And at the same time, YouTube is enabling us to grow our network faster than we would be able to if we wouldn't have the YouTube channel. We're getting more opportunities, we're being connected to more people, which in turn helps us expand our business from Austria to the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, which is, so it's double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Very, very tough question, and I'm sure if you're a creator, you know that. How do you manage work-life balance as a couple?
We don't.
We
Tough
don't.
question.
We don't. So for us, it's all about, and I think I've used this word alone in this video, I'm sure 12 times, it's about doing what you're passionate about. And if you really do what you're passionate about, the lines between work and private become very soft. It's a very gray area. And we try to merge our work life into our private life as much as possible.
Yeah.
Meaning, we were in Bali a few months ago, and we would just in the afternoon sit by the pool in the villa and just get our emails done, get our work done, and then enjoy the rest of the day. So it kind of merges into each other. Now, for example, we're traveling to New York. When we're traveling back, we're going to try and get a little bit of work done in between.
Yeah.
So we try and mix it all up together, put it all in a shaker, give it a good shake, and pour it out into one beautiful result.
Yeah. So it's basically not like, oh yeah, it's Saturday, we shouldn't work at all, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you have the opportunity, like, why not embracing it?
Exactly.
So it's you know, like we're in New York, we're meeting great people here, so it's not like, oh yeah, we have to work and this is like whatever. It's a great chance to connect with people. So meaning if we go out and meet people and do projects together, it helps us, it helps other people, so it's kind of goes together. And friendships. And I always say surround yourself with positive-minded people who help you grow and like motivate you to achieve your goals.
That's interesting. Do you have any tips or tricks, like as a couple, to have alone time without thinking about projects, or is it okay with you?
We don't think about that. We don't worry about that.
Okay.
And I think it's because we both are working towards a mutual goal, a mutual vision. So it's never really a problem.
Yeah, I mean, like, oops, sorry. You mentioned alone time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good to have like a few hours of the day for yourself and to reflect on things and like, you know, figure out how to deal with things.
Yes.
But for us, for example, it like the experience we had is that we are stronger together and we can achieve more when we are together and working towards a goal. But yeah, I totally agree. Everybody needs a little bit of alone time and reflection time. I would allow myself to be on my own every now and then.
Be yourself on your own. I see. That's very good. All right, guys. So, quick question: what advice would you give to someone of our age? Because we're not that young, you know. We're not 18 years old. What advice would you give to someone of our age who wants to like be an entrepreneur or like start his own thing? What advice could you give him?
Just do it. Take the first step.
Yeah.
And once you've taken the first step, take your second foot and take the second step. It's just about getting it done, you know, making the first move. It's never too late. There's a lot of examples.
And it's never too early.
And it's never too early. There's a lot of examples about, you know, Fortune 500 companies that were started by people that are in their 60s. So,
Nelly, any advice for young women?
Never be afraid to ask for something, and don't worry too much. I would say don't worry too much. I think that's one of my biggest learnings, that I started to learn to like deal with my fears. So try to not to worry about things and focus on the positive things that can like happen. Yeah,
what can happen versus what can not happen.
Yeah.
I see. That's very interesting. All right, well guys, that was absolutely amazing. If any of you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We can hit up Michael and Nelly. They'll respond to us. We can do a follow-up in Miami.
Yeah, definitely.
I highly suggest that you check out their channel if you haven't, because they were in the past 2 vlogs, I think. So check out their channel and what they're creating. It's great. I really love it. I love what you're doing, guys. So
thank you.
We'll keep in touch. And remember, guys, if you like that video, leave a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends who are struggling, or your parents who don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest like issues. Parents don't understand what you're doing at all in the first place, but then once they see the results, they're like, oh, this is great. Actually, this is really great. I'm so proud of you. So this is what happens.
Okay, but you need those 3 years of hard grinding first.
Nothing happens overnight.
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, remember, make the most of your time on this planet. You never know when it ends, and
make it happen.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I just wanted to say friendships.
Friendships develop.
Yeah.